You're most welcome to our online school, Skill Bridge Institute. We are still on project management. And right now, we are going to discuss about risk identification. So this is where you are trying now to see the possible risks in your project. The key question that we need to understand is that why is risk identification important? Number one, prevents overreaction. So once you're able to identify risks very early, you can just apply a little amount of effort for you to deal with that particular risk. But once you delay, you need a lot of resources for you to deal with that particular risk. Because at that particular risk, at that particular time, that risk will become a big issue. Another one is improved planning. So you are able to allocate resources in their proper designated areas, as well as you are able to plan for contingency, 5 to 10%. Another one is stakeholders' confidence. So all the stakeholders, they will have confidence in you because you are able to identify the risk and you are even able to prepare for those particular risks so that they shouldn't affect your project. So you look as a very big professional. Another one is reduced impact. So it minimizes the impact which that particular risk can cause on your project. Let's talk about key techniques for risk identification. Number one, brainstorming. So this is where you sit down with your team members so that you can be able to identify all the possible risks. So those people, they can bring diverse thinking. So in that particular diverse thinking, you're going now to spot all the possible risks. Another one, it is SWOT analysis. So on this one, you're focusing on strengths, weaknesses, as well as opportunities and threats. So on this one, you are now trying to see all the possible internal and external risk, because the strength and weakness, they focus on the internal, while the opportunity and threats, they focus on the external. So on this one, you are now trying to see that what are the possible risks based on our weaknesses, what are the possible internal risks, based on our threats, what are the possible external risks. Okay, another one, it is interviews and survey. So on interviews and survey, here you sit down with your stakeholders and team members. Then you can have a questionnaire and you'll be asking questions, key questions to those particular people. So they'll be giving you responses. As they are giving you responses, you'll be able to spot the possible risks for your project. So they'll provide specific and detailed risk insight because you're asking them key questions. We are still continuing on key techniques. Another one, it is checklist. So on this one is where you will come up with a checklist of all possible risks. And you are now trying to ask the guys to say, is this particular risk applicable to our scenario? If they say yes, you tick on that one. If they say this one is not applicable, then you skip that one. And this is one of the best way of identifying risk in a project. In a project. Another one, it is assumption analysis. So on assumption analysis, there you are now trying to examine project assumption. So you are examining all the assumption which you have in your project. For example, you are assuming that our project, as we are doing our project, the suppliers will have materials in good time. And as you are assuming, you find that the reality is that there might be some delays, and after reaching to that one, you understand that delay in supplying of material can be the possible risk for your project. Another one, it is expert judgment. So on this one, it is where you are now using somebody who is expert in that particular field, who has got experience, who can just see a project and say, according to this particular project, these can be the possible risks. Right, let's go to tips for effective risk identification. Number one, involve right people. So you need to include team members, stakeholders, as well as experts. Another one, you need to be comprehensive. So on this one, you need to consider technical, financial, operation, and external risk. So you need to try to consider all the internal as well as the external risk. Don't be biased to one side. Don't just be biased on focusing on technical risks only or financial risks only, but try to look in all diverse areas. Another one, you need to document everything. So try to write, whether you are using your computer, you can be using a Microsoft project, Microsoft Excel, or even you can be using a notepad or notebook in doing that one. So you should maintain detailed risk register. Another one, you should review regularly. So whenever you have got that particular checklist, or you have got that particular place where you have written all the possible risks, so you should be trying to go there and update those particular risks each and every time throughout the project life cycle, throughout the whole project. Thank you so much.